Hello babes, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video we are going to be talking about Mona Thorne and how she was treated on the show Half and Half when it came to her relationship with her father as well as her relationship with her mother. This will be half podcast style, but I do want to speak about her outfits really quickly, her fashion, a couple videos of her fashion, as well as her style on the show. But the rest of the video will be podcast style. Mona's style, she is eclectic, experimental, and is like a bohemian fairy. She has a head full of beautiful natural curls and is the opposite of her sister Dee Dee. She doesn't feel the need to fit in or look like everyone else. I absolutely loved Mona's fashion. While it may not be my personal style, I always love seeing women express themselves in different ways and not conforming to how people believe they should dress, which Mona got a lot of. People talking about her hair, which always aggravated me because the women who were making fun of her natural hair wore wigs, pressed and permed their hair, and had a lot of self-hate, and the only way they felt she was presentable is when her hair was pressed. Talking about the way she dressed, and I feel like she needed her own core group of friends who had similar interests as her because they always made her the butt of the joke. Mona loved a good pair of chunky boots, a mini skirt. She was like a real life Bratz doll. If you go back and look at the Bratz dolls from the 2000s, they wore a lot of similar clothes to Mona, like the flowy blouses, fur trimmed jackets, and the boots. Mona was the only person who I saw pull off the skirt over the jeans look, which was a trend I absolutely despised. But Mona was one of the people that was so confident in her fashion that she could pull off things most people couldn't. She was also one of the few people on TV in the 2000s with natural curly hair like Tracee Ellis Ross, and it made me so happy to see as a young girl who had curly hair as well. I also wonder how it made Rachel feel in real life because this was naturally who she was. She wore her hair in natural curls, she dressed just like Mona did, so I wonder if she felt like it may have been an attack in some way because she didn't look like everyone else. The color she wore always complimented her beautiful creamy caramel tone. She was absolutely beautiful and made to feel as though she was less than because she didn't look and dress like others. She was creative, lively, and did her own thing when it came to fashion. She was like the Bratz doll amongst the Barbies. So now we'll be getting into Mona and the issues that she dealt with on the show. So Mona is the eldest daughter to her father and seems to be overlooked a lot, which is something that happens when another sibling comes along. The attention that was given to you will be given to your younger sibling, and it's not something that's always intentional, but with her father being remarried and having a new family, Mona didn't get the same amount of time and love from her father that Dee Dee did. Dee Dee, even in her adult age, was always treated better than Mona by their father. And though it may have not been intentional, it was clear as day that Dee Dee got preferential treatment from their father. He always showed up for Dee Dee, and Mona had to be the independent one. Why couldn't she be independent and have the support of her father as well?
Just like you get everything. Just like you've always gotten everything. The pony, the braces, time with my father whenever you wanted it, which is why I didn't want you living in this building.
To see your sibling living this lavish lifestyle while you struggle and your father is rich had to be painful. Am I saying to give your kids everything they want? No, but you can't give one and not give the other. Their riches were always rubbed in the face of Mona, and she was always made the butt of the joke. And her father never stood up for her when Big Dee Dee would make comments about her appearance or speak badly about her mother to her, which was out of line and disrespectful for both Big Dee Dee and Phyllis. I do like that Big Dee Dee loved Mona and was nice to her for the most part, whereas Phyllis was cold towards Dee Dee because she was extremely bitter when it came to Charles. She would constantly speak ill about her father to her, and made up an entire lie about how he cheated on her and left her for Big Didi.
Well, according to Didi, her mother never stole Daddy away from you on a plane. She was never a stewardess, and you and Daddy were practically divorced by the time they met.
This isn't really about a friend, is it?
No. And what I'm discovering here is everything I've based my entire life on. My relationship with my father, my relationships with other men, how I feel about Didi and her mother. It's all been a lie. What do you have to say for yourself?
I don't think we're going to be able to handle all this in one session.
And it's true.
To feed your daughter a lie like that for so many years, and she was a therapist, was just outright toxic. And I've seen a lot of people who have parents who are therapists speak about how their parents would treat them more like their patients than their children, or can sometimes be toxic. And Phyllis was toxic. Yes, she loved Mona and poured love into her, but she also pumped so much negativity in her that it played out in her relationships and made her hate her father because she hated him. I believe she was secretly still in love with Charles, and that Big Didi was living the life she believed was hers and belonged to her. Phyllis wanted Mona to hate her father because he moved on, and she hurt her daughter in the process. She made Mona bitter and resentful, which I believe is what she wanted because she had someone who sided with her. However, Charles created this environment when it came to how Mona was made to feel. He treated her like a stepchild, and I think he resented Mona in some ways because she was a reminder that he had a past with Phyllis. And it caused her and her sister to have an estranged relationship up until Didi and her moved into the same building. Didi was his prize, who he always boasted and bragged about. All of his colleagues knew who she was and met her, while she was known as the other daughter.
What? Didi? You mean half-sister?
I thought she was away at college.
Just graduated, top of her class, and she's going to be starting law school at Bolt.
How do you know Charles?
Oh, I'm his daughter, Mona.
Oh, you're the other one.
Yeah, that's me, the other. I also answer to Hey You.
He never really worked to have a relationship with Mona. I think Big Didi had a better relationship with her than her own father did. Charles barely made any effort to get to know Mona and spend time with her separate from Didi. Anytime she had time with her father, Didi was there, and I feel like it's because she helped to ease the awkwardness between Mona and Charles. When you have multiple children, I think it's very important for parents to have quality time with each child one-on-one. Not every day, of course, but there should be a separate relationship and connection with your children. Now, my parents have been married for years, and I have older and younger siblings, but we each have a different relationship with my parents. Some children are more sensitive and need more affection and love. Other children are more independent and like to figure things out on their own, but know their parents are there for anything they need. But Mona didn't have that. Yes, she was more independent, but her father didn't assure her that he would be there for her, whether emotional or financial. Yes, Mona may have been more independent, but she also needed her father as well, which made Mona form a resentment towards Didi because she constantly saw how Didi was basically idolized in the eyes of her father while she was neglected by him. If Didi and Mona received a gift from their father, Didi always got the bells and whistles and daddy's little princess treatment, while Mona got the here dang treatment from her father. He poured love into everything he did for Didi because he loved her mother. And there are some men out here who only take care of their children and love on them if they are in love with the mother, while the other children will get crumbs. And because he hates his ex-wife, the child is left in the middle of it, and he has resentment towards the child who was innocent in his war with the mother. And while Phyllis may have spoken badly about her father to her, Mona witnessed for herself the favoritism with Didi. She witnessed her father never stand up for her, and Didi genuinely loved Mona and wanted a relationship with her sister, but because of how Mona was treated as a child, it made her have a slight amount of hate for her sister, which was the fault of Charles because he never gave fair treatment. It was always biased, and maybe not intentionally, but he definitely gave her praise and gave her all of the things that she wanted, while Mona did not get that same treatment. Now, what I disliked about this show is how they always made Mona seem as though she was undesirable. And they always made jokes about her, quote unquote, not getting a man or keeping a man. I swear the 90s, 2000s obsession with being attached to a man will always boggle my mind, because it's like nothing else mattered, and having a man was the biggest accomplishment in life you could achieve. You could become a doctor, lawyer, build community centers, help the youth, and that won't matter as much as having a man. Now, there is nothing wrong with wanting to be married and having a relationship, but when you make that your entire personality, or call out people and try to drag people and disrespect them for not having a man, or the end all be all, is where you lose yourself and begin to become desperate just to be able to say, I have a man. Which is why Mona had so many failed relationships. Aside from her broken one with her father playing a part, her mother constantly badgered her about her dating life. Now, Mona did have her issues, and she had a lot of bitterness she held inside and always had to appease her mother because she felt sorry for her. But the way they constantly made her feel like she was unworthy of love annoyed the hell out of me. I think Mona needed to move away from her mother so that she wasn't always so involved in every part of her life, so that she could actually work on healing, as well as Dee Dee and her father. I think that would have been the best thing to help Mona thrive without always hearing her mother's opinion and how she feels about what her grown adult daughter is doing. And I think her and Dee Dee living in the same building for a little while helped them to grow a bond with each other. But after a year or two, Mona needed to move. There were too many opinions and family members in her personal and dating life. And having to watch everything you say and do because your family feels because you're related, your business is their business. Yeah, no thank you. And with that being said, this video has come to an end. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Make sure your notification bells are turned on so that you always know when I upload. And I will catch you guys in the next one.